So my business here is to share with you a very profound personal experience in my journey with God. You look at the screen, so you'll see in that first picture a hospital scene. And then go to the second picture, and can you pull up to the photo? If you can zoom in, what you see in that photo looking like a corpse is actually the man standing in front of you. And you can take off the photo. And it's basically just to demonstrate to you what I have come to discover about the power in the name Jesus. Because the Bible teaches us that God highly exalted our Christ and bestowed on him the name that is above every other name. And at that name, every knee bows and every tongue confesses of the things in heaven, the things under the earth, whatever they be, including death. So that was me you saw in that still photo. And in that situation, all I knew to say in my mind, what was rhyming in my soul, wherever I was Jesus is Lord. Jesus is Lord. Jesus is Lord. Jesus is Lord. That is all I could say. That is all I remember I was saying throughout my period of consciousness and unconsciousness. But what happened to me when I came back? And is in the scheme of things, there are no coincidences. It's interesting that the Right Honorable Speaker is here. He's known me from as long as I have known myself. So he's actually my big brother. And he knows, and he's seen me grow. And if you are wondering, evidence is always evidence. When I was going to marry in 1984, he went to ask for the hand of my wife for me, who is sitting here. So that's a very long time. But to come back to the testimony. So in our culture, every clan has a location where they lay you in state when you die. Every clan. It's a physical and a spiritual connection to your ancestry. So when they take you to your home after you die, there is a place. Every clan has a particular, I call it the last stop. You'll go there. Now, if you were buried anywhere under the sun, but they will take your remains, your clothes, and take it to that spot and lay it there symbolically to show that you have passed and transited. That's what, there's a few people here who accompanied me to my village when my mother passed, including my brother there and my sweet sister there. We still have a book we are writing about Issa. That's the Right Honorable Speaker's domain. He is the Lord of all that place. And so we would realize when we arrived at the village with my mother, we had to go to a particular spot where the corpse was landed, and they played xylophone and sang dirges for a few minutes before we moved her to a park because we were expecting more people. But you must pass through that last stop. Whilst I was in that state, the reason when I came back to consciousness, I knew I was dead, was that in my mind, I was roaming in that space. And all I could say was, Jesus is Lord. Jesus is Lord. What brought me back from that transition I did whilst lying abroad to see myself at the last stop where our dead are laid, and I'm standing here before you today. And that's why I'm glad to share that story. And to invite you to make a personal connection and journey with this Jesus, because you cannot confess a God unless you have established and given yourself to that God. The fetish you confess is incantations. The Juju man would say what he believes. Those of us who are born of Christ, our confession is that Jesus is Lord. And our assurance is that at the mention of that name, every knee bows and everything gives way. And that there is nothing under the earth, in heavens, anywhere that doesn't bow to that name. Death bowed to that name and redeemed me, and I owe it to tell this story, because in full gospel we tell stories of our lives, and we admonish ourselves in the warning in the Bible that whosoever shall be ashamed of me and of my work in this sinful and adulterous generation, of him also shall the Son of Man be ashamed when he comes in his glory. So we are not ashamed here. We strip down, we say it as it is, because we owe it to God. So Supreme Court or no Supreme Court, I'm a product of the grace of God, and that is what I'm here to confess, that Jesus is Lord. I thank you very much, and I invite you to my Jesus who is Lord.